we breathe. Let me start by asking you a question. How many of you are mothers or grandmothers? Okay, that's kind of what I figured. I'm the father of 2 kids. So if there's one phrase I hear on an hourly, if not half-hourly basis, it's, "That's not fair." Do we hear that? I've got a solution to the pension crisis, right? If I had a dime for every time I hear, "That's not fair," pay it off in a year, right? And we hear it not just in our personal lives, but we hear it every day in the business community as well, right? That's not fair that somebody gets paid more than somebody else, right? That's not fair. Nothing's fair. But there seems to be one equality that is fair, right? There seems to be one group that gets unequal treatment, and everybody's okay with it. Union executives seem to be able to get an unequal amount of treatment, and everybody's okay with it. And I'm going to point you to a couple of examples. We've been fighting a fight recently here in the House and in the Senate over a loophole in the criminal code. Some of you might be familiar with it. If I went up to one of you and I said, "I'm going to kill you unless you agree with me," I might be in a little bit of trouble. You think? But if I'm a business owner or a union executive and we're in a labor dispute, guess what? I get away with it. Is that fair? Not exactly. If I'm a labor leader or a business owner, I get held to a different standard here in Pennsylvania. There's an exemption in the criminal code that says they get held to a different set of standards. This has been going on for years. And there's a House Bill 1154 that finally got passed in the House, went over to the Senate, got passed in the Senate with a slight amendment, and it's back over to the House, and we're finally, after years, hopefully going to get this loophole closed, and they're going to be held to the same standard as everybody else in Pennsylvania. Now, our question is, why was this so difficult? This is common sense, right? But this was a fight for years, and we finally got it done. Almost. We're almost there. We're at the 26.0 mile mark of a marathon, right? So, but we're almost there. But this is just one example of a inequity that union executives have had for years. We're finally almost there. Well, let's look at another one. There's been a fight going on. You might have heard about this issue of paycheck protection. Let me ask you something. How many of you, if you went to your employer tomorrow and said, "You know what? I'm a member of my local chapter of the PFRW, and I want you to start taking a little bit of my paycheck and start sending it to my PAC." How many of you think you could get away with that? Not gonna happen. How many of you think that if you said, "I heard this awesome, incredibly handsome, real go-getter Matt Wagner yesterday. I think he's doing a great job at Pennsylvanians for Right to Work. I want you to start sending a little bit of my paycheck every month to Pennsylvanians for Right to Work"? Think that would happen? No. But guess what? Every week there are unions in Pennsylvania, ASME, teachers union, that's what they get to do. Their teachers, their union members, they get to collect money on your dime, and their unions collect that money, and they get that money collected and sent to their union, and that money gets sent to the unions, and it gets used against us. Mary, you were asking about why they're so much better at communicating, the unions are. That's part of the reason, because they've been collecting all that money, and that gets churned over and used not just for labor negotiations and all of those purposes, but guess what? Some of that money gets turned around and used for political purposes. I mean, you think about I know, it's shocking, I
Oh
know.
my gosh.
Let me take a
Threw me
step
back
back
in
and
my
let
chair,
that,
sorry.
let me let that sink in for a second.
They're buying elections. They're buying candidates.
They're buying elections, they're buying candidates, but it's not just elections. It's when issues come up. It's when they're talking about pension reform, when they're talking about liquor. When they were down here last year looking like they were at a family reunion in their yellow t-shirts, guess what paid for that? The dues deductions. That doesn't come free, right? Your money paid for that when it paid for that money being collected and sent to them, it paid for that. But you don't have that option. We don't have that option as regular everyday employees. This is an inequity that's going on that's just not fair, right? Let me talk about another one. If any other organization wanted to hold somebody's job over their head, said, if you don't join our organization, we're going to get you fired. You think they could do that? If the chamber wanted to do that, could they do that? No. But guess what? Unions can. If you don't either join the union or pay dues to that union, they can get you fired. They're the only organizations that can do it. It's not right. It's an advantage that they have over any other organization. They talk about, you know, what they would call forced dues payers or free riders that they have, but the reality of it is they're forcing people to belong to them that don't want to be there. And that's why we need right to work here in Pennsylvania, because they have this unfair advantage. So we've introduced some bills to rectify that. The right to work legislation here in Pennsylvania, in the House, it's House Bill 50. In the Senate, it's Senate Bill 1073. Paycheck protection bills in the House, it's House Bill 1507, which Representative Cutler introduced. And in the Senate, it's Senate Bill 1034. They're currently sitting in their committees. We're asking everybody to contact their representative, their senators, ask them to help us get these bills out, get them through. Governor Corbett, has already said, get them to his desk, we'll sign it. It's the same thing that Governor Snyder said in Michigan. They said it would never happen in Michigan. It did. We just got to make it happen here in Pennsylvania. So we need your help, we need your chapter's help to get this ball rolling to make it happen here in Pennsylvania. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pass this around. I'm going to close with this thought, and then I'll open it up for questions. This is just a sign-up sheet if you're not getting our emails or updates or anything like that, so you can sign up to get our updates and everything. Mary, you're asking, you know, we have a Republican legislature, why aren't we getting more of our agenda through? Well, the reality is, it's not a Republican-Democrat thing. We have a union party, and we have a non-union party. Unfortunately, we don't have enough members of the non-union party to beat out the union party here in Harrisburg, and that's what we need. We need more members of the non-union party to get our agenda, the taxpayer agenda, moving forward. And that's what really needs to happen. So with that, I'll open it up to questions, thoughts, anything along those lines.
What has, since we were last here, Wisconsin had passed right to work. What economic impact has it had?
Since Michigan passed it, it's
And Wisconsin, with Scotland.
Well, Wisconsin didn't actually pass right to work legislation.
Okay.
It was just stricter rules on what they could do, what the unions could do and couldn't do. And it's had a huge impact on their economy. They actually had a budget surplus that they've actually returned now to the people of Wisconsin. Was it 24? I don't remember what the exact numbers were, but it was a huge surplus in Wisconsin, and that was not right to work specific. It was just restrictions on how they could collectively bargain and what rules they operated under and those kind of things. But good question. Yeah. What other questions?
Now, do you know the numbers in the House, roughly, who are the numbers of supporters of right to work?
There's approximately 40 co-sponsors. If we went up for a vote today, we're sitting at about, I mean, it's always easy to say, yeah, I'll vote for it if it comes up. If it actually came up for a vote, you know, different scenario. We're close. I don't want to put an actual number on it. You know, the trickier part is where we would be in the Senate.
Yeah.
We're still a couple of votes shy of the Senate.
Well, if there's any information on who needs to be spoken in whatever form it takes.
There are a couple of senators in
The Southeast is our biggest hurdle. Yeah.
Pennsylvania Right to Work is also on Facebook.
Yep.
Those of you
We're
on
on
Facebook.
Facebook. Yep, we're on Facebook. We're on Twitter at PA Right to Work. We also have been having a little bit of fun with the, you might be familiar with the situation that happened in Philly with the iron workers who got arrested in February. They called themselves the Helpful Union Guys. They were going around harassing and just committing crimes and so on in Philadelphia, not just against business owners, but against other union workers. So we, one of our activists down there grabbed the URL, Helpful Union Guys, and we grabbed that Twitter handle. So we've been having a little bit of fun with that for the past several months. So you can check that out as well.